4 gear, and that lets you save.
Who cares?
True Form Life.
Green look on it.
Welcome to Exploring Mind and Body with Drew Taddia. Drew is an expert in nutrition, fitness, lifestyle, and more. And he wants to help you live a healthier, longer, and more active life. Now here's your host, Drew Taddia.
Welcome to another edition of nationally syndicated Exploring Mind and Body. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for tuning in and being a part of our True Form Life community, whether you're listening on terrestrial radio across Canada or around the world as a podcast. We certainly wouldn't be here without you. Today, I'm talking about creating your beach life. And, it's funny when I say creating your beach life, is my personal experience, I suppose, of creating a beach life. And I'm really talking about creating the life of your dreams. Many times I'm here in Redondo Beach. A lot of the times I'm posting pictures and people are like, oh my gosh, you're so lucky to be there. And like, oh my gosh, you're going back there. And for us, like this is something that we've created. This is something that I've wanted for years and have been working towards. So I want to talk about throughout this show of the ways that you can create your beach life, you can follow your dreams, and I think it all begins with having a dream to begin with. But throughout the show, I'm going to tell you how we were able to create our dream life and how I was able to create my beach life and have a place here and have a place where I grew up and be able to travel back and forth and set your lives up for exactly what you want. So I hope you get something out of creating your beach life. Sit back and enjoy. We got all that coming up.
This is Exploring Mind and Body. Naturally improve your lifestyle one show at a time with your host, Drew Taddia.
Okay, so when it comes to creating your beach life, creating the life of your dreams, the very first step is deciding what that is. And I know that sounds crazy, like it sounds so simple, like why am I even mentioning it? We have to decide what it is we want, because I think so many people don't know what they want. Like, what do you want out of life? I don't know how many times I've heard, oh, it was just presented to me, or, oh, it's just something I accepted. Like, it's just always interesting to me that people just go through life instead of, there's a difference between getting through life and living life. What is it that you want? Like, think about, if you don't know, you should be thinking about it, or you should have thought about it. And if you haven't thought about it, think about it now, right now. Make a list of the things that you want to accomplish, the things that you want to be and do, the places that you want to travel. Write it down. There's power in words, not only thinking, but speaking and then taking action like writing. It changes the whole energetic realm of life if you're able to write things down, picture and visualize, and that those visualizations, they come to reality. It happens every single time that we talk about something or visualize something, we're working towards something, it comes into reality, but you have to be willing to work for it. Without question. So that's going to be one of my tips here. But the very first thing that we have to understand is that we have to be very clear on our vision. What exactly is it that you want? So when I talk about beach life, it's kind of symbolic, but it's also literal as well. Because so when I was at a very young age, one of the first things that I wrote down, which is kind of crazy because I don't even know at that young age, I think it was like 5 or 7 years old, I wrote down, I want to live at the beach. I live in a beach house with my girlfriend. It sounds crazy because I don't even know if I've been to a beach at that time, or I don't know what TV show I was watching, or I feel like part of divine intervention, or maybe a past life, or however you want to look at it. But that was a goal or dream of mine. And I always growing up, I always enjoyed warm places. I always wanted to be warmer. Growing up in Canada, it's cold, and I've never liked or appreciated cold weather. So I always wanted to live at a beach, in a beach house. When I got older and I started to work towards this dream and work towards this goal, how can I put my business online so I can travel wherever I want? How can I work and make money there and still be here? I will always have family and friends in Canada in colder climates. I always plan on visiting, but I would like to spend most of my year in warmer climates. And that's something that I was very clear on. It was a very clear vision. And I decided like that's what I want out of my life. And I'm emphasizing this so much because I can't tell you how many times I hear from people or talk to people like, I don't know, really don't want to know I don't know what I want to do with my life. And I'm like, well, decide. Decide what it is you want. And I don't mean like, what's your 5-year plan? I think that's one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard. And I know that statement makes business people cringe, but I don't know where my life is going to be in 5 years. I can tell you what I want. I want to be in a warm environment. I want to be with my loved ones. I want to be with my best friend, and I don't want to have to worry about money. So those are very clear visions of where I want to be or what I want to do for the rest of my life and how to get there. But things always change. There's always speed bumps, always things that come up, and we have different mindsets. We change, we make different decisions. Different things become priorities or more important to us as we get older or as our life changes. But to have that clear vision of exactly, specifically what you want, I think that most people just haven't thought about it. They haven't realized that they can have what they want, so they're like, why do I think about it? Like, what's the point of spending my time if this is my circumstance and I'm not able to change it? So understanding that you can change your circumstances, knowing that you're in control of your life, and having a clear vision of exactly what you want. What do you want out of life? Decide and commit to that. And when I say commit to that, I mean like it should be something that you want out of your life for the rest of your life, not I want to get a new car. Like, that's great. That's not all that exciting because I can tell you firsthand that once you get that car, you're going to want something else. But you need a clear vision on exactly what it is and what it is that you want out of this life.
Trueform Life.
Before we get into the show, I just want to mention Complete Truth Protein. This is a plant-based protein supplement that we've designed ourselves at Trueform. And the reason I designed it is because I felt like there was a need in the industry. Now, when I was traveling around the world, and I literally had a tackle box full of supplements and products and vitamins that did a whole lot more damage than good. So when I started doing more personal training and fitness classes, people would ask me what types of supplements I would recommend. And I always say, eat food. So that's why I've designed Complete Truth Protein around food. It's made with quinoa and hemp seeds. And one of the main benefits that it offers is improved digestion. So many of us deal with digestion issues on a regular basis. It also gives you a natural boost of energy. So if you head over to trueformlife.com/complete truth protein, we have tons of more details, videos, recipes, and everything you need to get going in the right direction with a good quality protein supplement. trueformlife.com/complete truth protein.
Trueform Life.
And it's usually what you're doing every single day, how you're waking up, where you're waking up, when you wake up, what are you going to do, who's going to be there with you, because I'd imagine most of us don't want to do that alone. And if it is alone, I have absolutely no problem with that. I think many times we have this fairy tale idea of what a relationship is like. Relationship is work, constant work. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I appreciate our relationship and the relationship that I've built. And if you want to be alone, I think there's nothing wrong with that. I think, unfortunately, society kind of puts people down that enjoy being alone or that are alone. So we're always like, oh, I need to find a spouse. I need to find a partner. But in most cases, we want to wake up with someone. We want to spend our days and time in life with someone. Or maybe it's spouse, maybe it's kids, maybe you want to be closer to your family. Whatever it is, what I'm saying here is that you have to be very clear on exactly what that is. For me, like, guessing and testing is important. Like, maybe you want to work for yourself. Maybe you want that freedom. And then you start working for yourself and you decide this is not all it's cut out to be. I think that you have to do what's best for you. What I'm saying here is that you have to guess and test. If you feel like that you want to work for yourself and you try it and you're like, oh no, I don't want to do that. Or let's say, for example, I wanted a beach house. So what if I moved, and this was a very real fear. I moved down here, got a place here, and was like, whoa, I don't like living here. I'd rather vacation here. Or I don't want to spend so much time here. It's a bit more challenging. So I have to make that decision, like, is this what I want? So guessing and testing was important. We actually went around to different areas in California. So I was in Malibu, Santa Monica, And then some different places in South Bay. So Venice, not quite in South Bay, but Venice is really close. Then there's El Porto, and then there's Manhattan Beach, Hermosa Beach, and Redondo Beach. So these are all guessing and testings, and I stayed in different areas for short amounts of time to see if that was a place that I wanted to be long term. It just happened to be that Redondo was a place that we found. But I would have stayed in the other beach cities as well. Manhattan Beach and Hermosa Beach are both amazing. But it took some years. It took years to guess and test and find out where the best place was to live, what was ideal, the location. So for example, we could pay a whole lot less in rental fees if I was way back inland, but I wanted to be near the beach. I wanted to be I wanted to see the water, and you have to pay for that. Of course, you're paying for location, but we have to understand that you have to make sacrifices. So now you're paying higher fees, for example, but that's the lifestyle that I chose. That's the lifestyle that I want. So we have to decide. We have to be very clear. If I got down here and was like, oh, I just want to live somewhere around here, anywhere really, I wouldn't be as happy as I am now being able to walk across the street to the beach. It's such a different experience if you live inland, or if it's an hour drive instead of a walk, or instead of a 5-minute drive. It's completely different. So you have to decide. That's why it's so important to be very clear. And then you guess and test to see what it is you want. Like what is it that you want? If you're not sure, then how are you going to know what's going to make you happy? So it's so important to continue to guess and test and find out what it is you want in life. And if you're not, what I'm saying here about guessing and testing is if you're not trying new things, how are you going to know? How do you know you don't like avocado if you've never tried it? You just think you don't because it's green? How do you know that you're not going to enjoy a stir fry without soy sauce if you've never tried it? You just expect it to turn out not very good because we're not used to that. I got a quick story here for you. One of my friends, we were young, we were in high school, and his sister was a bit younger. And we didn't like beets at the time. I love beets now, but we didn't like beets at the time. So his younger sister was going to go try beets, and we're like, no, don't go try beets. Those are gross. So we were just kind of talking like this and giving her a hard time. And then she kind of had this perception that it wasn't going to taste good, and she kind of scrunched up her face and she kind of put her tongue on it and then took a tiny bite. And she's like, oh, it's gross. Clearly, it wasn't a very nice thing for us. I should ask her. I haven't talked to her in years, but I should ask her if she's going to eat beets now. If she eats beets now. But it wasn't a very nice thing for us to do. But it's that perception. Like, people are like, oh, it's green, or it's broccoli, or it's Brussels sprouts, and like, oh, gross. And they've never tried it. So what I'm saying here is, without guessing and testing, without seeing what you want out of life, without trying new things, then how are we going to know if we're stuck in our little town, if we've never moved houses, if we've never traveled, or if we've only gone on a short all-inclusive trip and never really experienced the local life in that area? How do we know if we like it or not? So that's why it's so important to guess and test. I think coming up with a plan is my next tip here. Like, coming up with a clear plan of exactly how you're going to accomplish your goals. And if you don't know what it is, then we can't come up with a plan, of course. Right? Like, how can you plan something that you don't know what the end is? So once you have that, so that, again, that's what goes back to the first tip of being clear of exactly what you want. Then from there, we move on to guessing and testing. Once you have a better idea of narrowing things down of what it is that you want out of life, then you can come up with a plan. So what if maybe you have a different job that you're looking for? Maybe you want to be a news anchor, for example, or maybe you want to work in a corporate job instead of a blue collar or construction type of job. Maybe you want to move to somewhere warmer. Whatever it is that you want to do, once we decide what it is, we need to come up with a plan. Like, how are we going to accomplish that? How can we make it financially? What jobs can we do while we're there? What jobs do we need to create or make happen in my place of home? Where can I live? Where am I going to live? Like, what kind of house or condo can I live in? What location or what area in that country or town is in? Like, these are all things that need to be considered, and I don't think that they're often considered. I think it's like, oh, that sounds like a great lifestyle. I want to go move there. Or I want to go live there. Let's go do that. But it's kind of crazy, because if we really don't decide what it is that we want, how are we going to guess and test, and how are we going to come up with a plan? Come up with a very clear plan. I think it's the same thing with, like, setting goals. Like, we don't want to talk about goals. Like, no one wants to do New Year's resolutions. No one wants to set a fitness goal. You know what? I've never heard so many people silent when I say, what are your goals? People come to me. I don't do it so much anymore, but once in a while I'll do personal training or one-on-one coaching. And people will say, oh, I need some help. And I say, well, how can I help you? And they go, I want to get into a workout program. I want to join a gym and get a little bit healthier. I'm like, oh, great. I'd love to help you out with that. What are some of your goals? Like, what's the main outcome that you want to get out of this? Silence. Nothing. And like most people don't know exactly what they want. They just feel like they should be going to the gym. I should be going to work out. It's going to get me a little bit healthier. But no one has a real clear-cut goal. Like, I want to run that marathon, or I want to compete in a Spartan race and not be the last one to finish. Or finish at all. Or I want to live a healthier lifestyle for my kids. How can we do that? What will make me be healthier? And I think that if you envision that, if it's something powerful, if it's something that you can hold on to and that will get you up during days where you don't want to get up.
True Form Life.
Just want to take a minute to mention Complete Truth Protein again. This is a protein supplement that we designed at True Form. We believe in food. We believe food heals, cures, and prevents. That's why this product is much different than your conventional types of products. Unfortunately, packed with chemicals, preservatives, toxins that our body doesn't know how to utilize, digest, and absorb. So that's why Complete Truth Protein can help improve your digestion and will offer a natural boost of energy. You can find more details at trueformlife.com/Complete Truth Protein.
True Form Life.
Gets you to go see your trainer or gets you to do your at-home workout. Those are real goals. Those are real reasons why. And we don't come up with them. So why do we want to move? Why do we want to create our beach life? Why do we want to stay exactly where we are and make that part of our life our beach life? You know what I mean? Like, we don't have to move. You don't have to go to a different country, different location. How can you create a beach life right here? What are the things that makes me happy? And you know what's interesting is I love the beach life. Without question, I absolutely love it. And sometimes I don't love all the things that happens in Canada, for example, where I grew up. Like, sometimes I'm like, oh, it's cold out here, or it's miserable here, or sometimes like things come up like I don't enjoy this relationship I have. So, and I think to myself, how can I create the beach life I love and enjoy here in LA? How can I create that more so in Canada? And some of that has to do with weather. At the time of this recording, we actually just went through a cold stretch of -30, if you can imagine. I wore my snow pants for literally 3 weeks every time I went outside. And people are kind of laughing at me and messing around. They're like, what kind of Canadian are you? I'm like, it's -30. When you go outside, your face hurts. And when I see -30, I mean -30. And when you walk outside, your face hurts and your like extremities, your toes and fingers like start to tingle because it's so cold. And it's not just -30. If you factor in the wind chill, sometimes it's -40. Like, how can you live in that weather? How can you live there and enjoy yourself and enjoy your life? But anyways, so those are only short stretches of it being that cold, I should say. It's not always -30. It was just -30 for like 3 weeks. And I feel like last year we had like a 3-week stretch of it being that cold. But everyone was kind of complaining or talking about how warm the winter had been this year, and then how little snow there was. So I thought it was interesting that Mother Nature was like, okay, let me help you out with that. I'll bring you back winter if that's what you want. So, but being outside, like, I like to be outside. I like to work out outside and be active. So those are challenges for me. But I have to think to myself, like, what do I love about the beach life? How can I bring that back there so I can enjoy it there more so? So if you don't want to move, if you know exactly where you want to be, then what are the things that you enjoy about your life now, and how can you increase those? Like, maybe you have great friends or family. Like, how can you spend more time with your friends or family? Maybe it's your job that you don't love, so how can you change your position in the company? How can you look for a different company? What is it throughout the day or throughout your weeks that you don't exactly love, but you can change just a bit so you can enjoy that life? So right exactly where you are is creating your beach life. Remember, it's not just a beach location I'm talking about here. I'm talking about how to create your dream life right where you are. And you know what's interesting? I think a lot of times people try to move, like they move locations or they move jobs, and they're like, their problems follow them. And I love this quote: wherever you go, there you are. That's so powerful to me. It's so powerful that I remember every time I travel, and that was a fear before moving to LA, before getting our own spot here. I was like, Well, whatever reason I wanted to, I didn't feel like I was like running away or trying to get away from anything other than the freezing weather. But I thought like, for whatever reason I wanted to be here, is that going to cause me to want to be somewhere else? Because wherever you go, there you are. You can't get away from yourself. You can't get away from your problems. They're going to be there no matter what. You have to deal with your problems. You have to face them and come up with solutions. So that was very apparent, very real in my mind. And that was something that I considered, and you should consider that too. So wherever it is you're moving, whatever it is you're doing, you have to understand that these are your circumstances. You're creating them through your relationships, through your words, through your thoughts, through your actions. That's what you're creating in your life. So if you want to change, you don't have to move to another country. You don't have to move to another province or state. You have to just change your mindset, change your life, change your words, change the actions that you're creating in everyday life, because that's going to make all the difference in the world. And understand that there's going to be speed bumps. I think that's important, because it doesn't matter what you're doing, things are going to come up. It's life. We call it life. It matters in a big deal how you perceive your problems or issues. It matters how you react to them. I just had a past interview where we mentioned man's search for meaning. I think that was with Dr. Gus, actually. Check out that show. Great interview, but we talked about man's search for meaning, and it's a great book about a guy in a concentration camp and how he was able to find the good things in life, which sounds crazy, but he found good things to think about to keep his mind alive and fresh and not defeated, or he just didn't give up. He wouldn't give up. So it was important for him to find positive things so we can find positive things in our life as well. But we have to understand there's going to be speed bumps. There's going to be roadblocks, but we have to find a way around them.
True Form Life.
I just want to mention Complete Truth Protein here once again before I let you go. This is a protein supplement we designed ourselves, made with quinoa and hemp seeds, also maca and stevia. We have 2 different types of products. They both have tons of health benefits. You can bake the original bag, you can bake with. It's perfect for gluten-free flour if you're celiac or gluten intolerant. We have tons of recipes on trueformlife.com, which include raw protein balls. People absolutely love these ones. We have pancakes, cookies, muffins, all healthy, all clean ingredients. Dorothy puts these together for us on a weekly basis. So if you head over to trueformlife.com, head over to the recipe section. We have all kinds of recipes on how you can use Complete Truth Protein. It's also a vegan and raw product. So if you have any intolerances or if you have any issues with digestion, this will definitely help you out. Once again, that's trueformlife.com/complete truth protein.
True Form Life.
And then understand that things change in life. Like our priorities change. Like everything changes as we get older. And I don't mean get older. Like I'm the complete opposite of as we age, we should change to like start slowing down. We should change to look for retirement, or we should change to not do the things that we want to do or should do just because of our age. I'm going to interview Carol Burke. She's going to come on the show soon if you haven't heard that interview. And she's 69 years old and she's running, I'm not sure if she's running just a half marathon or if it's a half marathon or a full marathon. I kind of think it's no, I'm not sure. She's 69. She does workouts. She stands on her head, literally. She does yoga. She did the death race, or she ran a leg in the death race. She does all kinds of crazy things. She's always bouncing around. She's always happy. And she's 69, and I know people that are younger than her that are talking about slowing down just because they're getting a little bit older. And I'm like, no, you don't need to slow down. Keep pushing forward. Keep living your life. And I think that you can change your plan as you get older or as you change. Like maybe this is something that you want now, and then in a couple of years it changes. Maybe you want something different, or maybe you want to look at it at a different angle. So just because you decide what it is that you want, and just because that you're following that dream, if it's okay if it changes, it's okay if it alters, it's okay if your priorities change. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't think of yourself as a failure or that you've been defeated because you want something different. Don't get me wrong though, if you give up, if you decide this is too hard and you don't want it, then that's a decision that you have to make and that you have to live with. But decide, like be clear on that. If you feel like this is too hard, then move on and do something else that's maybe not so challenging in life. Like it's challenging to run your own business. It's challenging to pick up and move to a different country. It's challenging to live out of a suitcase. Like we have to understand that there are challenges in life. There are speed bumps. You'll have to make sacrifices. Where can you save money? Where can you spend less money? How can you invest your money properly? I read this really amazing book, and it was called The Soul of Money. I forget the author at this point. I'm sure I mentioned it on a past show, but The Soul of Money was so incredible about how she talked about the money in your life. And it doesn't matter how much money you make. Most places, most business financial gurus will talk about how it's more about how you save your money, maybe a little bit about how you spend your money, but it has nothing to do with how you make your money or how much money you make. Just think about that. If you make $200,000 a year and you spend $250,000 a year, what's the difference between if you make $50,000 and spend $100,000? What's the difference? You just have more things. You've just accumulated more things, but you have the same amount of debt. So you've made no more money. I think that's funny. I really do. If you made $1 million a year and you spent $1.2 million, you're still in debt. You might have a nice car and a nice house, but you're drowning in debt and probably credit cards, and you're wondering what's happening with my life because you can't pull yourself out of that. It doesn't matter how much money you make. It matters what you do with it and how you enjoy it. I listened to Nick Barr. He's a YouTube guy. I really like I find his stuff inspirational, to be honest with you. And he was talking about how his company made $1 million. He also does protein as well. We do Complete Truth Protein. That's what we've designed as well ourselves. So I thought that because he's a protein designer or supplement designer, that we have a few things in common. Fitness guy as well, and nutrition. And he was talking about how he made $1 million and he was going to go buy a new car. But then he realized that, like, just because I got this $1 million doesn't change who I am. And just because if I buy this car, that's not going to change my life that much either. So he said, I just put that money back into the business because he knew that those external materialism isn't going to make a big difference, make a big change. I actually talked to Brian. He's on a past show. We talked about materialism as well. And that was a great interview, and how these external things don't change our lives. It's really, how are we creating our beach life? What are the things that are important to us? And how can we make those changes in our life to have the life that we want? And like I said, you don't have to be traveling across the world. You don't have to be bouncing around. You don't have to be in a different state. You don't even have to have a different job. You just have to find out what it is that you want and what's important to you. A happy, healthy spousal relationship. You want a spouse, you want to have a better relationship or a more meaningful relationship. You want more friends. Do you want a different job? Like, you can stay exactly right where you are to create that beach life, but you have to decide what it is that you want out of life. How can you get there? Guess and test, and understand there are going to be speed bumps along the way. So that was me right there. I haven't done one of these solo for quite a while. So I hope you enjoyed. Hope you got something out of that. We got tons more information, more interviews on exploringmindandbody.com. And I hope you enjoyed that conversation, me opening up my thoughts to you. We're going to wrap things up here shortly.
True Form Life.
All right, that's going to wrap things up for this edition of Exploring Mind and Body. As always, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for tuning in and sticking around till the end. So much appreciate your time and support with the show. If you get a chance to subscribe, to download the shows, to share, tell a friend, word of mouth means absolutely everything to us. So thank you for your consideration and support of the show and being here with us. One thing I didn't mention that I thought I'd throw out there is that one of my goals is to be, I'm saying it out loud, I'm saying it publicly right now, is to have my own late night show. I want to say that out loud because I feel like the more times we say those things out loud, and I don't say it out loud because I'm in fear. Like, I think that people are going to think it's ridiculous. But Jay Leno, Jimmy Fallon, David Letterman, I mean, I've watched all of them. I enjoyed them on different levels, and I feel like I can do it. I feel like I want to do it. And I feel like if I keep hiding that, if I keep saying that, not saying it out loud, that I'm not going to be able to manifest that in my life. And I wanted to bring that up because that's when I talk about creating your beach life. So maybe I'm going to experience that. Maybe that's going to happen. Maybe it's not going to be all that's cut out to be. Maybe I'm going to be like, no, I like my life the way it is. I don't have to be in that studio every night or so many times a week. Like, we have to decide what it is we want, but maybe I'll love it. Who knows? But you'll see me there regardless. I know it. All past shows are going up on exploringmindandbody.com. Check out all past shows there. We also have a free app you can download on any Apple device. Head over to the App Store, search Exploring Mind and Body, download our show, and take us with you wherever you go. More details are at trueformlife.com. This is our main website where we do more meal planning, recipes, grocery shopping lists, and at-home workouts. That's what we do. Once again, thank you so much for being here. That's it. That's all I got. I'm out of here. As always, I'm your host, Drew Taddia, in health and fitness for a better world. Thanks for listening.
You've been listening to Exploring Mind and Body with Trueform Life's Drew Taddia, fitness expert. To find out more about the show, Drew Taddia, or to listen to past shows, visit exploringmindandbody.com.